Can we all have a big wave for the camera, please? Want to be on film? Look at the back. I've got a camera around there. Wonderful. It's all very different this year, isn't it? We're having to keep you all apart and make sure you don't mix and talk to each other and all that sort of thing. But it is lovely that we have been able to go ahead and do this and get ready for Christmas. I'm sorry it wasn't on the 24th, but it was just getting far too difficult in terms of how many times we've got to completely sanitise the church. So I'm afraid we had to move it in the end today. So I hope it doesn't spoil Christmas, not having it there. But we are preparing ourselves for Christmas. We're not allowed to sing in church, but we are going to be having some music. You've heard them playing for us as you came in, and there will be some face masks at the back of church if anyone's forgotten theirs. I think the children are exempt, but the adults, you do need to have a face mask on. And just a reminder for everyone, it is being recorded. We were hoping to live stream it, but we've had a glitch, we can't. So we're going to record it, and it's going to go out on YouTube later on. If you want the details of how to get it on YouTube, speak to the man who knows at the back, not to the vicar who's completely stupid about technology. So I haven't a clue, but he will tell you all you need to know. So welcome, and for those who haven't already done so, we are going to be making our Chistingles as we go through the service. So hopefully you'll be able to join in and make them with everyone else. I just wanted to outline a bit of the history of Chistingle, because I don't think we've ever done that in our service here, where they come from, why we have Chistingles and what's the association with Christmas. And it was a guy in Moravia, a Bishop Johannes de Bottervelde. Isn't he wonderful? But Johannes de Bottervelde started the tradition in Germany in 1747. That's an awful long time ago. It's 250, 275 years ago, something like that. Long time ago. And at that time, all they did was get a red ruffled paper and wrap it around an orange, around a candle, sorry. It was just wrapped around a candle, and that's all it was. But then, over the years, the tradition spread, and it was made popular in this country by a man called John Penson in 1968. So it's only been around since 1968, and yet we all feel, don't we, that it's so much part of our Christmas and our traditional Christmas, but it's only been around since the 1960s. He was raising funds for the Children's Society, and so he decided this was a good way to do it. And over 5,000 Chistingle services were held in the UK every year in the 2000s. In 2018, over 6,000 services were held for the Children's Society. And each year, the Chistingle services raise over £1.2 million to help vulnerable young people. And we're going to be thinking about the sort of young people that it helps when we come to our prayers. And there'll be some pictures on the screen, not necessarily of the people that it helps, because obviously that's private. Some of them are accurate, some of them are not. But it's just to give us an indication of the sort of areas that the Children's Society works in. So if you are able to help, then there will be a collection plate at the end, and we have to leave through this door here. So when we come, the plate will be out there. If you think you can help the Children's Society, we would be really grateful. If not, go online and do it privately at home if you prefer to do it that way. So, we're going to start our Chistingles. Can you all get hold of your oranges, please? Everybody got an orange? Hold your orange up. Oh, wonderful. Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on. I think they're growing. Are we nearly done? We're picking them. Yes, there we are. We've all got an orange. What shape is it? Round. What else is round? The world is round, isn't it? So this reminds us that this is something to do with the world. People look very different around the world. They don't all look like us. Have you noticed that? People in different countries look different. Sometimes they have a different colour to their skin. It might be more brown, or it might be even black. But they may look different. And sometimes they're smaller than people who have different houses. Not all houses look like ours, do they? Sometimes they're more like huts, and sometimes they're like cabins, and sometimes they're like mansions and palaces. They look very, very different. Their schools are very different. In lots of countries, their school is out in the fresh air because it's always sunny. I'm glad we don't do that. We'd have got very wet over the last few weeks, wouldn't we, if our school had been outside. But we don't. We have a different school. And they have different roads. We have nice, smooth roads. But actually, in some countries, they have just dirt tracks and it's all rutted and horrible as they're going along and doing this as they're riding along on their roads. Very, very different lives. But this reminds us that Jesus came for the whole world. For everybody, no matter how different they are, no matter how different their life is, no matter how different their school is, no matter how different their roads are, doesn't matter if they look different. Jesus came for everybody, the whole world. So your orange is the whole world. We're going to hear our first reading. I think it's Becky. No? Who's the first reading? Okay, I've got a hand up at the back. So thank you. Okay, off we go. Now speak voice.
The angel visits Mary. God sent the angel Gabriel to a town in Galilee named Nazareth. He had a message for a girl named Mary. The angel came to her and said, "Peace be with you, the Lord is with you and has greatly blessed you." Mary was deeply troubled by the angel's message, and she wondered what his words meant. The angel said to her, "Don't be afraid, Mary. God has been gracious to you. You will become pregnant and give birth to a son, and you will most name him Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High God." "I am the Lord's servant," said Mary. May it happen to me as you have said." And the angel left her. Thanks be to God.
Thanks be to you too. That's wonderful. Now the next thing we've got is some red tape. Have you all got the red tape? Get the red tape up, hold it up. There we go. Everybody should have some red tape. You've plenty of it. And what you've got to do is wrap it around the middle of your orange. Right around that big fat tummy on that orange. So that it looks like that. And you should make the two ends stick together, and that will hold it firm on your orange. Yes? How are you? Right round the big fat middle. Yeah, it doesn't matter. If it's a bit long, just keep wrapping around until you get to the end. Yeah? And that shows us that Jesus' love, the red, goes right around the world. And that means that wherever you go in the world, there will be some people who believe in God living there. Isn't that wonderful? To think that wherever you go in the world, yeah, thumbs up. Brilliant idea. Thumbs up if we think that's a good idea. Excellent. Jesus' love is right around the world. And Jesus had love from his parents, from Mary and from Joseph. And that reminds us that we have that love too. And overlap our love for one another just the way we overlap the tape. So we're going to hear our second reading now. Where's that piece? Is that? Oh, that's Poppy's, is it? Okay.
Jesus is born. At the time that the Emperor Augustus ordered the census to be taken throughout the Roman Empire, Joseph went from the town of Nazareth to Bethlehem, his family's home, with Mary, his wife. Mary was pregnant, and while they were in Bethlehem, the time came for her to have a baby. She gave birth to her son and wrapped him in strips of cloth and laid him in a manger. There was no room for them to stay in the room. Thank you to God.
Thank you, copy. That was brilliant. Now, this is where we're going to have to ask the grown-ups to help us, I think. So you need to take your knife. Hope everybody's brought a knife. Anybody's struggling for a knife? Yeah, there's one family over there. Okay. Cut the bottom off so that you've got a nice flat bottom. If you've got a flat bottom anyway, I don't mean you, I mean the orange. If the orange has got a flat bottom, that's fine. If it hasn't, cut a little slice off so that it will sit up when you put it down on a flat surface. So that it sits up nicely on a flat surface. Yeah? If your orange will sit anyway, you don't need to. Mine's got a nice flat bottom. With your knife. Make a cross shape on the top of your orange with your knife. Yeah? So you should have a flat bottom and a cross on the top. Yeah? If you've got a little core in there, you may have to pick it out so that you can make the cross. Anybody not understand what we're doing? Okay, so cross on the top and a flat bottom. Everybody done that? Anybody getting very sticky hands? No? Excellent. Okay. So, we now need to get Mary and Joseph into the stable. So have we got Mary and Joseph? Who's got Mary and Joseph? Right? Mary's at the back. Yeah, come on, bring Mary down. Where's Joseph? Have we got Joseph? Yeah. Put them in the stable. You've done that, just pause, don't go ahead and put your candles in yet. There you go. Oh my goodness, people are so keen. Are we on the sweets already? Right. Okay. Yeah, I haven't forgotten your angel, don't worry. They're coming. Okay. So just before we do the next bit, Liz, I think you want to. Okay. Jesus often is called the light of the world. And that's not because he's bright and shiny, but until he came, it was like we were fumbling around in the dark and we couldn't see where we were going. And we kept bumping into bad things in our lives, going off track, getting lost in a world full of bad things. And Jesus showed us the way to do better. It was like he shone a bright light to help us to see the way clearly. So to remind us about that, to remind us what Jesus did, we have a candle. So get your candles. And you need to get your tin foil. Have you all got tin foil? Yeah, all got your candles? Okay. So you put your candle on your piece of tin foil like that. Candle on your piece of tin foil. And then push it up at the sides so made the cross on the top of your orange. So where you made that cross, you should be able to push your candle into the orange so that it sits up nicely. If it's not working, you might need to make your cross a little bit bigger, but don't make it too big, otherwise your candle will wobble. So make your cross, push your candle in its tin foil so that it's sitting up nicely. Look, you've got some, hold them up when you've done them because they're beautiful. Look how clever you are. There, hold it up. Wow, fantastic that is. That's absolutely fantastic. So, while we're making sure people have finished that, we're going to have Jesus come up in his crib. Where's Jesus? Who's got Jesus? Come on then, bring him up to the front and put him in the stable. Are you both going to come? You both come in? Well done. Put Jesus into the stable. That's it, with his mummy and daddy. That's beautiful, thank you. Well done. Has everybody got their candle into their orange, except me, who's failed to get that? I've got a knife. Okay, everybody done? Lovely. Now, you should have some cocktail sticks. Has everybody got cocktail sticks? Now you want 4 each, and make sure you don't spear yourself with them, because they are a bit sharp. So get 4 for each orange of your cocktail sticks. Wonder why you think we've got 4. Anybody got any ideas why we have 4 cocktail sticks? Yes. The 4 seasons, well done. Anybody know what the 4 seasons are? Can you tell me? Well done. Summer, spring, winter and autumn. There's also something else it can be. It reminds us that each time, in the spring, the summer, the winter and the autumn, we have enough food to eat. Because God provides different food at different times of the year, and that means that we have enough food to eat. When we go to our supermarkets or wherever we buy our food, there's always some there for us to eat, because God provides it for us. But it can mean something else. What else can it mean? 4 things. No, it's not the 4 Gospels, or that could be. Okay, well, think about it in a minute. But just for now, we're going to think about some people who heard about Jesus being born and they came to see him. So we're going to have our 3rd reading, whoever that is. Who's our 3rd reading? Lewis? I think they're doing it between them, Lewis and Coffee. Okay, so let's listen to our 3rd reading.
The angel visits the shepherds. There are some shepherds in the part of the country who are spent in the night in the field taking care of the sheep. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone over them. They were terribly afraid, but the angel said to them,
Don't be afraid, I am here with good news for you, which will bring you great joy to all people. This very day in David's town, your Saviour was born, Christ the Lord. And this is what will prove it to you. You will find a baby wrapped in strips of cloth, lying in the manger.
Suddenly a great host of heaven's angels appeared, with the angels singing praises to God.
Glory to God in the highest heaven, and peace on earth to those with whom he is pleased.
When the angels went away from them back into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, Let us go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened. So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and saw the baby living in the manger. They told Mary and Joseph what the angel had said. Then The shepherds went back, singing praises to God. Thanks be to God.
Well done, and thank you to Liz and Poppy for reading that so beautifully for us. So we're just going to hear a little bit of music playing now while the angel comes to the crib, because the angel took the message to the shepherds. So is the angel coming down? Oh, I think he's got a real escort, this angel. It's wonderful. Oh, lovely. Can we turn and show it to the camera before you pop it in? Come on, can you show it to the camera? Up there, look. That man on the top. Lovely. Hold it high. Hold it up. There we go. Well done. Fantastic. Now pop the angel into the crib for me. That's great. While that's happening, perhaps you could get your fruits and sweets and things all ready. Get your 4 cocktail sticks ready. Because we want to remember just how blessed we are in this country, that we've got more than enough food to eat. It reminds us that some people don't have enough. And here we are with lots of special treats for Christmas. Food that's special. So I want you to take your 4 cocktail sticks and gradually put your sweets or your dried fruit or your mini marshmallows, or what else has everybody got? What's on their cocktail? Or somebody's got cherries down here, I can see. Sorry? Jelly tops? Yeah? What else have we got? Sorry. Celebrations chocolates going on over here. Haribo's. Wow. My goodness. So you only want 2 or 3 on each stick, really. But, you know, I know some of you will load them, but, you know. Remember, you've got to push it into the orange, so you need to leave a bit of space to push it in. Now, as we do that, we think about all those people who don't have enough to eat. And even in our own country, there are people who don't have enough to eat. And there will be children who won't have any special treats this Christmas. So although we've got loads and loads, we're loading up our cocktail sticks with as much as we can get on them, there will be people who won't have anything like that this Christmas. And remember that Jesus came to the world, all the world. It doesn't matter whether you live in the north, like we do, in the south, like people in Australia, in the west, like the people in North and South America, or from the east, where the wise men came from, kings who brought their gifts to Jesus. Doesn't matter which part of the world, and that's the thing that the 4 cocktail sticks also represent. North and south and east and west. So when you stick them in your orange, try and stick them in one on the north, one on the south, one on the east, and one on the west. Just like Liz has done with hers. If you've already made them, hold them up so we can see how you put your sticks in. Look at these fantastic things. Great. Sorry? So we're loading them up. And now the shepherds need to come to the front. So we've got the shepherds, and you get them ready. Get these shepherds ready if you've got a shepherd. Oh, there's some sheep, I think, as well. We've got some sheep around. If you've got a shepherd or a sheep or both. Okay? Bring them into the middle, hold them up for the camera. Thank you, Poppy. Come and hold them up so that we can see them. And then pop them into the crate for me. Wonderful. Thank you very much. good. That's you having a rest. It's time. Excellent. And remember, our 4 cocktail sticks are the 4 seasons when our food is produced. It's also, who can remember what the 4 sticks were? It's the seasons or, yep. Well done. North, south, east and west. And who in our story came from the east? Can anyone remember? Yes? Sorry, Charles? Easter. It does sound like that, doesn't it? It's not Easter though. The kings, if you haven't got a mouthful of sweet, you'd all have heard that. The kings came from the east. They did. And we're going to have a bit of music now played while the kings make their way to the stable. So if you've got a king, you need to bring your king now to the stable. Have we got the kings? Here they come. One with frankincense, one with myrrh, and one who brought gold. Well done. What did they bring for presents? They brought gold and myrrh. Gold and myrrh and Frankenstein. No, frankincense. It was gold and myrrh and frankincense. Well done. Now we're going to say some prayers now. So we're going to. I know it's difficult when you've got all sweets out and things, but if we can be as still and quiet as we can be, we're going to have some pictures come up on the screen of things that the Children's Society work for and the children that they work with. Some examples of what happens. So let's just get the projector to speak to us and then we'll be away. It's gone to sleep. Our projector's gone to sleep. Has anybody else gone to sleep? Not yet. Here we are. It's coming. So one of the things that the Children's Society does is it works with young people who act as carers for other family members, as well as trying to go to school, which is not easy at the moment. And from the age of 10, this young lady, whose name is Molly, has been looking after her mum who had a slip disc and also had to have a pacemaker fitted. Her nan was registered as blind, lives with them, and her dad had a head injury which resulted in loss of memory. So Molly, remember she's only 10, she cooks and cleans, she picks up the medicines and pays the bills. And so the Children's Society Young Carers Programme has taken an interest in Molly's case. It helps to give young carers like her a break through a one-to-one meeting, with trips out, and also at a special festival for young carers. And I expect that this year, with all that's been going on, some of that work has been seriously curtailed, that they're not able to do all of the things they want to do to support Molly. But Molly's now a champion for young carers. She talks on the radio and the newspapers about being young carers, and she's won an award from David Cameron when he was Prime Minister for the work that she does. And she's eventually gone on to university, and she's got a first-class degree in journalism. And that's largely thanks to the support and the help that she received from the Children's Society. So let's just take a moment to think about people like Molly, who quite young have to take on lots of responsibility of looking after people in their family. And then the Children's Society gets involved in the case of child refugees. Children who have to flee from their own country and everything they know, everything that's familiar, all their friends. Sometimes they have to leave their family behind. And sometimes they arrive in countries like ours alone, without anybody to help them. And these pictures that you're seeing were taken by somebody called Suhar, who arrived here when he was just 14 years old, and he had to start a new life of his own at 14 without anyone here to help and support him. He had lots of mental health issues, but now he's found his feet and he has a passion for photography, and so he's taken lots of photos of his time in London. Suhar said that when he first arrived in this country, it wasn't easy. You basically start a new life in a new country, a new culture, with new things all around. It's like you're stuck in the middle of somewhere like clay or quicksand. You're trying so hard, and you can't get anywhere. And being alone, he had to learn to get by the hard way. He felt desperately sad. He had no one to turn to. He was very emotional and felt like crying. And then along came the Children's Society, who worked with him and helped him through the difficult times and supported him. And the help given by the Children's Society made all the difference to him. And he now says that he's feeling really confident and strong and able to go forward with his life again. So the Children's Society does lots of work with child refugees. So let's just take a moment to think about having to leave everything you know and go off on your own when you're quite young. And to make your own way in the world, it can be really difficult. But thankfully, there's something like the Children's Society to help you. And so we thank you, God, that there are those people to help through the Children's Society. We've already mentioned in our service that there are some children who live in poverty in our own country. And this year, apparently, we expect that number of children to reach 5 million. Because of all the difficulties of COVID and so on, it means that lots of young people are falling into poverty. They have to go to school hungry, they get bullied sometimes for wearing old uniform, and they miss out on activities with friends. And they have to work extra hard to stay happy and motivated and focused on the future. Being from a poor background shouldn't hold a child back, and the Children's Society works to keep children healthy, happy and hopeful, even when money's tight. Sometimes we give up hope. We think, well, there's going to be no end to all of this. It's all so gloomy and horrible this Christmas and nobody's happy and we can't do what we want to do. But let's just remember that there are some children who are still staying hopeful and happy despite being in a much worse place than we are. And the Children's Society work with them. And then there are lots of children who have to go into care, who have to be cared for away from their natural parents for all sorts of reasons. And when they leave that care and go out into the world on their own, it can be an exciting place, yes, but also quite scary. So to think about getting a job, paying bills on your own. Maybe you haven't learned how to take care of your money. So lots of children get into all sorts of difficulties when they first leave care. So the Children's Society not only works with them, but it's been calling on local authorities and social services and all those sorts of people to help them, so that they've got some help to support them when they leave care until they reach the age of 25. So that on their 18th birthday they aren't faced with a huge bill as a birthday present, and instead they can learn how to manage their money and live independently, free from debt. So it's about helping children leaving care and campaigning for them as well. And thank God that the Children's Society is there for them. It also works with young people on the margins of society, those who would be rejected. Children come to the society, the Children's Society, for help, to talk about their feelings, what's been happening to them. They come when they don't know what choices to make. But they do have hope, and they want us to get back on the right track. These young people make a huge impact. They shine like a light on parts of society that are broken. And the Children's Society helps them to regain their hope, even when it's just on the slenderest bit of hope for the future. They can help them to get back on track. So a big thank you to the Children's Society for being there for young people when they're facing those terrible dangers in our society. And there are lots and lots more things that the Children's Society helps with, too many really to talk about in this service. But the Children's Society looks at what their needs are, wherever the situation, whatever's happening to them, whatever they are without or whatever they're missing, they try and help them in any way that they can. And it's a big, big ask to ask this society to take care of them. And all they ask of us is to just give a little bit towards their work in way of money, but to give an awful lot towards their work in the way of saying our prayers for them. And so we ask you, God, to be with the Children's Society in all their work, in our country, and in all the lives of those children we thought about tonight. Amen. Now we come to the exciting bit. Have you got your matches? Anybody not got matches? Oh, Liz, we need matches. I think there's some just through the door, Molly. If you one of you keep your hands up and somebody will bring you some matches. One of you keep your hands up. Who else has got matches? Keep your hands up and Molly will come to you. Has everybody got matches now? Molly, are you on the lights? Ready? Very good. So we're going to light our candles. We haven't already done so. Light the candles. Everybody lit their candles now. Okay, Molly, lights please. If you're not facing the back, turn and face the back, hold your hand up. And everybody who watches our service can see the lights shining in the darkness. Just as Jesus shines in our lives, keeping the darkness at bay, Jesus shines a light in our dark lives. So God will protect us and all those whom we love and we pray for. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer together. I'm sure you all know it, so you don't need to look at your sheet. But if you do, hold your candle not too close to your sheet. As we say together, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Hold your candles up and light in the darkness. Then as you bring it down, very, very gently, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and when I say 3, you can blow your candles out gently, so that we don't blow wax over everybody. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. I'm going to lights back on again, Molly. Thank you. I bet Molly can't see what she's doing. Oh, there we go. Just press any of them, Molly. They'll come on. Isn't that right? That is beautiful. Let's just say a final prayer. If you want to make this prayer yours, you say Amen at the end. God of Christmas, we thank you for this special time together. We ask you to bless all those who are here and all those who will watch our service later in the evening. We thank you that we've been able to get together and that you helped us to start our Christmas celebrations in a very special way. And we thank you for your Son Jesus, the best present we could ever have. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all for coming. Don't forget to take your orange home with you, your Chistingle home. Take all your spare sweets and things as well, because I'm sure you'll need to leave some out for somebody on Thursday night. So you may need them, okay? Thank you for coming. You need to go safely this way. Remember to keep 2 meters apart. God bless you.